Well, hey, welcome to the Blue Gamer Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue. Sorry, I got started a little late and I forgot to set up everything, but hope everyone is doing well. I am doing much better. I know I said that yesterday, but for sure today. And I know some people had been concerned, which is very nice, actually. But it's funny because I was listening to the Bluecast I did yesterday, and I did sound sick. So, hey, Chris, good to see you. It's my son's name, so every time I see that, for some reason, even though his is spelled differently, actually, it doesn't have the H. Okay. So, today's very interesting because I want to get into the whole Palworld Nintendo controversy for a bunch of levels. I mean, yeah, as like a consumer that, is against some corporate things. Yeah, I'm mad at Nintendo, and um even though I love Nintendo and their games and all that, but we'll talk about it from a perspective as a consumer, someone that likes to enjoy things and have fun. Um, Jamkel X in the house. Good to see you. Okay, so before we get into the Nintendo stuff, let's look at Exophase and see what I've been up to. And again, I don't think I played a whole lot yesterday because it was kind of like by the end of the day, even though I was a lot better, I was a little more tired. Let's see. Okay, Watchdog Legions. Again, that was probably my youngest. Hopefully he's having fun with that. Maybe I'll have him come on and explain the fun he's having with it. It's very interesting because I'm going to try to hold this closer. It's very interesting with Watchdogs because I think that's an interesting IP. I just think the first game was almost like a cool concept, not fully realized. The second game was actually pretty fun. I really liked Marcus, the protagonist in that. And then the third one I've never really played. But it's interesting that they greenlit the movie when before the first game came out. So it's cool. Like I'd love to see this movie come out and be good. There was, Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia, and both of those weren't really all that great, unfortunately, which is disappointing because I think it's a cool initiative for a video game company to come out with cool movies and games. But to move down, look at this 19 minutes in Expeditions, a Mud Runner game. So this is something that was added to Game Pass. And so I was like, it's on Game Pass. I might as well give it a shot. I see what it's doing. I think it's pretty cool. Okay, a car driving game, but open world. So like think of Horizon, but think of as you're driving. Let's compare it like Call of Duty to Escape from Tarkov, or Call of Duty and like Arma. If you guys played Arma, it's like driving a car but super tactical. Like you have to neat concept. I don't know if I can I don't know if I would really play it much more. But I think because if you have Game Pass, and I love that it's PC and console. If you have Game Pass, maybe just give it a try to see if it's something you like, because it is unique and different, and in a way where it's not bad. So, and then Astrobot played some more. Astrobot is so fun. I think yesterday I was at 10 hours, I think, and then today, so I played about an hour and 16 minutes yesterday. That was pretty much my extended gaming yesterday. So what's really cool about Astrobot is, like I was talking about, how like you have those different worlds you can go to that then have different levels. Then there's like this center world that's like your world, right? So then anytime you rescue these bots, they go to that world, and then you can go there and run around. It's like an open world fun place. I don't but what's cool is it's all video game themed, not just Sony PlayStation. And so this is something I was not expecting, but I do appreciate that Sony did with this. To me, Sony comes off a lot of times very arrogant about their properties, but the fact that they had so many cool third-party properties in this Astrobot, to me, it makes it feel like a celebration of video games. Especially I consider PlayStation newer in the even though it came out in 95. For me, 95, what was I, 12? I had already experienced so much in gaming that the PlayStation came, it was new. And while they were all about 3D graphics, not all of it really jived well. And there was no more 2D and well, Symphony of the Night. So for me, I've always had this weird relationship with PlayStation, but I gotta say, the way Astrobot does everything with, yeah, and in that world you're in where you have all those Astrobots, you can then there's like these little sections in these worlds where you're like unlocking things to fill out the world. You then get these capsule places you go in, and then it's the capsule, the crane, and then it's like costumes. So I'm wearing the hunter, the Bloodborne hunter's garb on my Astrobot. That's probably all I'm going to wear the whole time. I think that's awesome. And then I've unlocked like the bots, and this was early on, of Richter Belmont and Alucard, favorite character. So having the Bloodborne guy and the Symphony of the Night guy, those are some of my favorite video games ever together. And then from the capsule, you're able to get diorama things for the characters in the world, right? So when you save a bot in the game, then they show up in that world. You can walk up to them and interact with them. If you get unlocks for them for the capsule, like for Alucard, you get a coffin. He's in, you hit the coffin, he comes out, does something. Alucard, he's in his evil form from Symphony of the Night, and he's on the throne, and there's skeletons, and he attacks them and then summons them. Anyway, that's like an idea to come across as how charming this game is as someone that loves video games, like it's my world and all that stuff. Like, and this celebrates it. This is what puts Astrobot over the edge as such a great game. Yeah, strike a pose, take a picture at a photo spot. So, yeah, that's a random thing I did. It's not even really like platforming combat. It's just a neat little thing in the world. Look at this animal attraction. Opened the safari park. Again, that's not even like a level thing. That's like this extra stuff this game has. Opened the changing room. Recovered the motherships. Yeah, that was more of a anyway, that's just to show how cool Astrobot is. I'm enjoying it. Okay, let's get into the Palworld stuff first. I think Chris said something here. I want to see what this is. Is that even real? Remember, most of the Nintendo YouTube drama from years ago was caused by a random person on the internet. That I'm not too sure what you're talking about, but this definitely this Palworld thing is real. Let me get the where is it? Mega thread. Okay, let me share this. Show on screen. So what's going on is Nintendo. Okay, I can just read this. Nintendo has decided to file a lawsuit against. Let me do something. There we go. Nintendo has decided to file a lawsuit against Pocket Pair recently. We will allow blah 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 blah. Okay, so. Oh, okay. This is brand new. But the gist of it is Nintendo. It took their lawyers 8 months, but then they think they found some patent infringing. So not like copyright but patents that like Nintendo in their Pokemon games, certain functions they would have patented with the Japanese patent office. This is something that's occurring in Tokyo, so it's not based on U.S. law. And U.S. laws, basically, this wouldn't happen in the U.S. So, just in case I was referring to all of those Nintendo Channel strikes from music. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. You know, that is very interesting. Yeah, just because you don't hear much about that anymore. So it could have been one of those things. Exactly. Okay, so so anyway, what was interesting about that though was the guy from Pocket Pair. What is that what they're called? Yeah, he tweeted like a smiley face. It's like, why would you do that? He even said early on after development, I forget, he was having everything vetted so that it could be, so you wouldn't get in trouble. Okay. Regarding the lawsuit, yesterday a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We have received notice of this lawsuit and will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. Pocket Pair is a small indie game company based in Tokyo. Our goal as a company has always been to create fun games. We will continue to pursue this goal because we know that our games bring joy to millions of gamers around the world. Palworld was a surprise success this year, both for gamers and for us. We were blown away by the amazing response to the game and have been working hard to make it even better for our fans. We will continue improving Palworld and strive to create a game that our fans can be proud of. It is truly unfortunate that we will be forced to allocate significant time to matters unrelated to game development due to this lawsuit. However, we will do our utmost for our fans and to ensure that indie game developers are not hindered or discouraged from pursuing their creative ideas. We apologize to our fans and supporters for any worry or discomfort that this news has caused. As always, thank you for your continued support of Palworld and Pocket Pair. So what's interesting about this is, again, it took Nintendo, 8 months. So they've got lawyers on retainer. So I guess as soon as, I guess they smelled the game, they were like, okay, well, let's dive in. And for the past 8 months, they've been paying. So they've probably spent so much money investigating this, or, their lawyers looking through this. And, what's sad about it is, what is it that was patented? No one really knows, but it's going to be like mechanics. So it might be like patenting the idea of like throwing an object at a character and being able to capture it. That could literally be what the patent is. And it might be something very bizarre. Whatever it is, I think at the visibility level of the consumer, that I think this is a wrong move for Nintendo, because it shows that they are actively pursuing to do stuff like this, when the game that was released by Pocket Pair is a multi-platform game that's not on a Nintendo system, that also can run at 4K, 60 FPS, unlocked frames if you wanted to. It includes survival, building, etc. The only 3D Pokemon games made by Nintendo have very low frame rates, low resolution. It's not a conducive gaming experience that you can have on other platforms. I hope that this flies into Nintendo's face of like, look, you're suing a company that's trying to just provide an amazing experience for consumers, and you're just trying to hinder that because you want to gatekeep your Pokemon to sub 30 FPS. I'm super disappointed by all this. They may as well start to sue half the monster catcher RPG genre of the 20 plus years while they're at it. Exactly. I mean, a lot of Pokemon was derived from stuff like Dragon Quest, especially that art style. And, I see that a lot in video games. I see where video games take cool ideas and expand on them. I think that's what makes the art form awesome. What Nintendo is doing here is they're creating a stranglehold over the art form and the creators that want to pursue their dream of creating something that they're inspired by. And if the inspiration is a detriment, people are going to move away. The thing is, this is like a Disney situation where Nintendo is just so big, and the average person on the internet might not care. The average Nintendo consumer is not playing Palworld, potentially. I don't know. So for Nintendo, there's not really this loss at the end of the day. It's very disappointing. So let's see if there's any. So this is an update that kind of pretty much answered everything I was going to dive into about it. I saw some other interesting things along the way. Let me take a little sip here. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, when the game released, the CEO in an interview stated that every PAL design had to go through him for verification to make sure that there will be no problem with who. So yeah, really curious. And so what could the outcome be? It would be sad if it was like just to shut down the game. It was like just reminding me, like on my Gundam Explained channel, when I was reacting to a promotional clip that was released for a new Gundam show, and I did a reaction. My video was 3/4 longer, I guess, than the actual clip itself, because I was doing an analysis breakdown talking about some things, yet my video was getting blocked. And I'm like, this is like free promotion, And what I think happens is there's, again, executives, they hire these lawyers. These lawyers just want money. So the executive is kind of dumb. The lawyer's saying, hey, do this. It's better for you, when that's really not the case. We've seen it. We see it all the time. So that's the thing. We see this all the time. So, and Nintendo won that last case, but this was the one that had to do with the emulator. It was because a third party or an outside party was making money off of people wanting to play Tears of the Kingdom and get it to work on an emulator. So I get it. That's a little different. Kill X. The Megami Tensei franchise did it first, so Atlas may sue them, but they won't, because common sense. Yeah, exactly. I think there's a lot. There's a lot of companies, that a lot of times it's about inspiration, and it's carrying forward that joy. Sometimes, like, I think Gundam for me is a good example. I want to just make my own world, a live action movie, and have my own things that I can patent and be like, I guess I'm not good at it, but I do like Gundam, so I want to share my joy of Gundam. So I'm making these things. I guess it's like this with video games. Video games bring me so much joy. I am sharing it. So a lot of times someone that has a creative endeavor like making a game, they're inspired by something and they want to share it. So Nintendo is trying to knock down the indie dev. They're trying to knock down creativity. I think this is a bad look for Nintendo. This is a bad look. What would have been better if they specifically reached out to Palworld and said, hey, this specific mechanic we feel closely resembles our patent. Is it possible you could change the mechanics a certain way to avoid it? What if they just did that, like kind of like a cease and desist, where it doesn't go forward? It's just kind of like, hey, because that isn't really going to mess with anybody, I don't know. Just kind of disappointing that this is happening, but this is what is happening. So let me know what you all think, but I'm pretty sure we're all in alignment there. Okay. So let me get some other stuff up here. Again, sorry, I started a little late. Didn't have too much prepared other than talking about the subject. Actually, I had prepared for it, but new information came out. All right, yeah, yesterday we were talking about that Switch 2 stuff, and yeah, I've been thinking, if you listened yesterday, JMKL brought up that button on the back is probably the release. And I think so, because another thing I think was a complaint about the Joy-Cons was sometimes how hard it was to actually get a good grip to pull it, because, like, are you just doing one at a time? Are you doing both? Is it in the dock? And, all that stuff. And the way they seem to have it on the side where you can kind of like grip and pull, like, that seems to make more sense. I wonder if someone is acting for Nintendo. That was part of the original outrage, as in some got upset for Nintendo. Well, what happens is these companies that are big, like Nintendo, will have just a team of lawyers on retainer. They're employees or contract. I don't know how it works exactly. And so basically, it's like anytime they're smelling something that could be fishy, they will take their time, poke and prod until they find something. And if they don't, you just won't ever hear. Like, it could be that actively right now, Nintendo is seeking how they can sue multiple things. We just will never know. We just don't know until they're like, okay, we found something. Let's now make this public. We're going to actively sue. So yeah, they just have a staff of lawyers like Microsoft, like Sony, that actively pursue things that they feel. And that's what I was saying. Like, you have the executive and then you have the lawyer. The executive just listens to the lawyer. They're not listening to the marketing team. They're not listening to PR. It's like the lawyer aspect trumps PR. Yeah, a lot of times PR is based on what the lawyer says. So, yeah. Okay, Assassin's Creed Shadows will have a preview event at the end of September. And, my personal opinion is this game should be fun. I'm going to play it. I'm not going to jump on all this hate that I'm hearing. They're saying just because the samurai is black and the ninja is a girl that there's something wrong with the game. Makes no... Oh, I got to show you guys something since we're talking about this. So I love the character design for the new Assassin's Creed, and it's going to look very similar to something I did back in 2000. Is it in this sketchbook? I don't want to spend too much time trying to dig. Around 2000, when I was in high school, when I was in school in general, I drew all the time, and some of my favorite things to draw were samurais. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm gonna give my time to find this because I think it's worth it. Like for instance, here's a Batman I did back in the day. I thought was pretty cool. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, I don't know, but that was like what 16, 17, 8, 16. Yeah. Okay, here's one example. I made up my own black samurai. In black, I mean, what does the color really matter? No, but as I was wanting to design a character, for some reason, I found it to be a very cool design of a black samurai. I just thought it would be cool. So, I would practice, have them do like different stances. Oh, there's the other one. And then I think I have more. Anyway, so then when I see them release, the characters for Assassin's Creed Shadows, I'm like, this is exactly like my type of character. Oh, Chris, you're saying is looking great. Awesome. I'm glad that you think Shadows looks good too, because I don't like that people are dogging on it anyway. Because I do think there's legitimate reason to dog on some of the DEI practices, but I don't think all the DEI practices are made to be bad, But anyway, Blade inspired. That is a very good point, Chris. It could be like after Blade, maybe there was like I was infusing that idea because Blade has the sword like a samurai. Yeah, that's a lot of work. Yeah, inspiration can come from things like that. Yeah. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Okay, this is cool. New details on the next Battlefield game. Ripple Effects new experience will be a free-to-play. I don't know what this Ripple Effects. Free-to-play. Oh, BR mode. Okay, so game takes place between 2027 and 2030 with the campaign focused on a massive private military going up against NATO. So, 2027 is not too far from us, and I'm trying to think. How realistic is this going to be then versus, like, is it going to be like futuristic sci-fi, or is it going to try to be realistic and just, hey, there's this, because could there be a giant, massive paramilitary or private military group going up against NATO? I mean, after hearing the whole thing about you can blow up anyone's cell phone or pager. Anyway, the game will be set in various locations worldwide, including Gibraltar. That was that concept art, yeah. In the USA, which is also believed to be the setting for the Battle Royale experience, tropical location. Okay, so while the game is not Battle Royale, I guess they're just going to have that in there as an option. Might as well. 45 weapons at launch. 10 multiplayer maps. It's funny when a game says how many weapons it has that's not out yet, because it's like, well, I mean, is the game good? You can have 2 weapons. You can have 100 weapons. If the game is bad, I don't care. Typically, like Afro Samurai was really popular for all too back in the day. I haven't seen that. I've heard of that. I need to check that out. Pretty cool. Let's see. 10 multiplayer maps at launch, a significant overhaul to destruction, including caliber-based destruction like Rainbow Six Siege. Okay. Significant overhaul to destruction. So that's important. If they add something like that, I think that helps sort of make an interesting gameplay. I guess, dynamic compared to any other shooter you're playing right now. Because that's even the thing with X Defiant. X Defiant's really well done, but it's not like it's really doing anything new or different. We've had games with destructible environments before, and it's done really well. I think it's time it comes back. I think that should be a big point to it. Name will either be Battlefield or Battlefield 6. I think nowadays you have to have it called Battlefield something. Like, I think it's better for these companies to move away. You know, especially nowadays when I'm having to talk about like Modern Warfare 2 or Modern Warfare 3, how there's many versions of those. Okay. Let's see. The large community testing starting early next year might be the return of something like Battlefield CTE. Okay. Well, all right. Okay. Well, interesting. I'm curious to see what happens there. I think I was mentioning before, I really like Battlefield 2. Let's see. Okay, let's go to that's the rumors and stuff. Let's actually go to the actual news. So we got some sales stuff going on. Let's look at this. Even though I thought I was just looking at this. Oh no, that was review scores. Okay, so we got this murder case game at the top. Ooh, Astrobot is number 2. I remember there was a lot of like, oh, that game's not selling well, and it's at number 2 with 21,000. Is that high, low? I don't know. I mean, look at Mario Kart. So it beat Mario Kart 8, which you would think obviously it has to. Doesn't everyone own Mario Kart 8 by now? Wow. Nintendo Switch Sports is on there. Animal Crossing, Minecraft. It's interesting how, yeah, Minecraft over there is so big. You know what? That's dang. Okay, everything is Nintendo Switch but Astrobot. Hey, good on Sony actually get Astrobot getting up in there. I hope it there's a whole bunch of the Doom thing that happens when I guess someone saw the numbers, but yeah. Oh, I'm not even sharing it. This is what I meant. Like look at this 1 through 10, it's all Switch and then just one Astrobot. Okay. Okay, I don't know what that is. Helldivers 2 players are flying across the map thanks to a new emote glitch. Okay, that's funny. I wonder if I'll jump back into Helldivers 2. Oh, by the way, Dead Rising Remastered is out. I want to play that, but I don't think I will unless I really need to play. I've played through that game a handful of times, and they even said there's not really anything new going on. Let's see. Sorry, I'm seeing if there's anything else interesting. Oh, and from Midnight Hat, I was just going to ask if you're still playing Helldivers. Yeah, I feel like so that's very interesting because I have this spreadsheet I keep of when I play through games, what I think of them. So when I do my game of the year, Helldivers 2 I have it as part of my top 5 game of the year so far, but I didn't play it much after, it came out, and I did play it for a little while there. It's a cool game. You know what? Some of it is how long it takes to get into a game. You start the game, you got your map, you go to the thing, your guy then loads into the thing, it opens up, you're then in the ship, you then go to your thing, and then you get onto the thing, and then you go to the planet, and then you got to wait for the planet. I think there's that. It reminds me of Gundam Battle Operation 2 when I would go in the multiplayer, try to find a game, waiting for it, and then someone leaves, and it kicks us out of the lobby, then we have to start, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to play. I think Helldivers 2 had too much of that for me to where it's like when I'm sitting down to play, it's not like, okay, I got the night, just going to sit here when the game's, no, it's more like, okay, I'm sit down and play for an hour. So if I'm waiting for a game to get going, I'll just, that wasn't I just talking about that yesterday with another game where it's like, I won't go back to a game because it's like, well, I have to get through some things when I could just, that reminded me of, I needed to edit a photo, and I was like, I have to load Photoshop, and then that takes time to load, and then I have to export, and it's like, I'm just gonna save as, edit, and paint. It's that kind of thing, I guess. Let's see. Oh yeah, we just went over that Pocket Pair stuff. So good luck to them. Unity 6 will launch globally on October 17th. So I wonder how much the timing of this too is interesting. And I meant to bring this up because then those Nintendo Switch leaks happened yesterday. And then now there's this. I don't know if it's related or coincidence. In terms of, I don't know. That might just be a stretch. Let's see. Yeah, we're getting at time anyway, and there's not too much more. I think the main takeaway from today was just talking through that whole that thing with Palworld. It is very interesting. Going back to Chris here, who's playing Space Marine 2 online here? You know what? I haven't, but I will be a lot. I'll probably in the next week or two, I'll be playing it a lot more. It's just I've been playing Astrobot. I'm about to beat it. I beat Gun and Breaker 4, about to beat Astrobot. And I think because I've been a little sick, it's hard to focus on a game like Space Marine 2, but I need to get all in on that. I still need to beat the campaign. I didn't really get that far into it, but I really like it. And then my brother was like, "Oh, I beat the campaign." It's like, dang, that was quick. But then at the same time, I beat Gun and Breaker 4, about to beat Astrobot. There's a lot of games, and I really did not think this year was going to be that great. I think it's better than last year already. Anyway, I'm going to head out. All thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a good one. Peace.